Back in my edgy anti-sjw gamer bro days, I used to believe in something called the meritocracy, meaning that in modern society, everyone is rewarded according to their merits and not superficial characteristics such as gender or skin color. For example, I studied for my end of high school exams, got a decent score, and got accepted into a good university. Not because I'm white, not because I'm male, but because I worked hard. That's how it goes. You just gotta stop being lazy and start studying. All those pink-haired SJW types in the US are crazy to demand admission based on gender or skin color, I thought. They just need to put in the work instead of trying to guilt-trip polite society into giving them a pass, I thought. We live in a meritocracy, I thought. And I was wrong. The system we mean by meritocracy does not exist. Let me explain. The whole point of meritocracy, once again, is that only your performance counts. How well you can do a thing determines your reward, as opposed to innate characteristics such as skin color or ethnicity, which should be irrelevant. So what would be a good example for a working meritocracy? Online video games, right? Where the only thing that matters is how well you can aim, how fast you can shoot, and so on. All players are hidden behind freely chosen usernames, so things like sex and race don't play a role. Online gaming is a true meritocracy, or so I thought. And I was once again wrong. Let's take a game like World of Tanks as an example, which I used to play a lot. And no, this is not an ad segment. Everyone starts out with the same tanks, and then it's up to you to do online battles with those tanks with other players, usually in a 15 versus 15 format, where you get credits and experience based on your battle performance, which you can then use to either upgrade your tank or get new, more powerful tanks. This should be a true meritocracy in any sense of the word. But it isn't. Why is that? First off, not everyone has the same computer. What if you have low-grade hardware and you can only play at 15 frames per second, and that causes you to miss a critical shot and get killed? Someone playing at 200 FPS with an RTX 3090 Ti will have an inherent advantage over you. The reward system doesn't account for this. Or what if you have a bad internet connection that keeps lagging constantly, causing you to once again miss shots and get killed? Someone with gigabit fiber optics has a significant advantage over you at that point. But the reward system doesn't account for this either. And if you're a teenager or young adult, what if you have to share one room with 3 of your siblings who keep noising around behind your back, making it harder to concentrate? Someone who has their own private room is not affected by this handicap. Or, as a World of Tanks classic, what if your opponent is using premium ammo and a premium tank superior to regular ammo and tanks? That premium T26E5 will delete your regular VK45 in one-on-one, and there is nothing you can do about it. So what's the solution here? Well, just get better hardware, get a better internet connection, get your own room to play in, and get premium ammo and tanks. Easy, right? Just go and buy all that and the odds will be evened. And this is all well and good as long as you have the money. If you can't afford good hardware, broadband internet, your own private room, and premium subscription, you are at a significant disadvantage. Or in case you're underage, if your parents can't afford these things. And sometimes it's not even a question of money. What if you live in an area where fast internet isn't available and you're stuck with a slow, laggy connection? That means your battle performance is determined more by your postal code than your individual skill and willingness to get better. So as we can see, while in online games your individual skill definitely counts, wealth is just as important of a factor. So to go back to my initial example, I studied for my end of high school exams, got a decent score, and got accepted into a good university. How was I able to do that? Was it because I worked hard and wasn't lazy? To some extent, sure. I worked hard and wasn't lazy in my own private room based on instructions by good teachers, using high-quality textbooks, with supportive parents, after years of professional help during my childhood to eliminate my learning disabilities, while eating healthy, nutritious meals in a house with electricity and running water. Compare this to, say, a Roma teenager living in Eastern Hungary at the edge of town, in deep poverty, who really wants to get into university like I did. They study hard in a crowded room based on instructions by overworked, unmotivated teachers, using substandard, out-of-date textbooks, with unsupportive parents, with learning disabilities that were never corrected, while eating cheap, low-quality meals in a house with barely electricity and possibly no running water. So suppose both the Roma teenager and I achieved the same score on the end of high school exam. So the million-dollar question is, did the two of us have to work just as hard to achieve the same score like in a true meritocracy? No. Absolutely not. The Roma teenager had to work much, much harder by an order of magnitude. That's because they had to compensate for the substandard circumstances they were born in, and those can only be eliminated with one thing: wealth. Wealth is the cheat code to life. Do we recall the 2019 college admissions bribery scandal, where it turned out that a bunch of rich people, celebrities, CEOs, and so on, have been paying large sums of money to get their kids into top universities? That's not too meritocratic. Or, let's take Amazon. Their average employee made $29,007 in 2020, while Jeff Bezos made $70 billion. Now, do you think Jeff Bezos worked 2,413,210.6 times harder than the average employee to earn that money? Yeah, right. We don't live in a meritocracy. We never did, and will not for quite some time. And the people who insist the loudest that we do are either rich assholes who benefit from the current system the most, or simply dupes who bought into the whole pull yourself up by your own bootstraps scam. So how do we achieve meritocracy, or at least something close to it? Simple. By smoothing over the disadvantages affecting people as much as possible. That means free school meals, social housing programs, food vouchers that can be redeemed for healthy food at stores, affordable public transportation, making internet access a public utility, after-school programs for children from poor backgrounds, and higher taxes on people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Also, let's invest in historically poor neighborhoods to bring them up to par and take into account a person's socioeconomic background during things like college admission. And don't believe those on TV who tell you that true meritocracy is when everyone is on their own without any state support. Those people are millionaires funded by billionaires, as the latter profit most from the current system. They get billions of extra profits, yachts, Hollywood villas, and Manhattan luxury apartments, while the rest of us get rising energy prices, inflation, unaffordable housing, and dysfunctional, hollowed-out public services. And if you dare to criticize the status quo, they'll call you a communist, cultural Marxist, SJW, whatever phrase they can use to rile up their political base this season. Don't fall for their manipulation. If you like meritocracy, if you think we should aspire towards it, you should support pro-human, Western European-style social policies. The alternative is just more zeros in Jeff Bezos' bank account and less zeros in yours. Thank you for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I do have a Patreon as well if you think this content is worth your money. And I'll be seeing you next time.